I'm Daniel Konstanski, and this is now, moving on from the ships, this is my pirate set display, kind of other than ships. So basically the way it worked, it started in 1989, and there's always been a mix of, again, they always pair the good guy and the bad guy with something big and something small, usually. And oftentimes, a big and a small for the good guys and the bad guys in each wave. So we started off, this was Forbidden Island. This was the original pirate island, and it was paired with the El Dorado Fortress, which was the original Blue Coat base. And then you had some of the lagoon lockups in Sabre Island, just the stuff, back then there were so many more little sets that people could get with their pocket money. They kind of, this is just such a great example of what Lego used to do, where it's a great little standalone set, right? It works all by itself, but when you pair it with that, it just becomes even more so, which is awesome.
And then something I noticed here, this is an interesting, talk about what this is here, because it's not something you see typically.
So back in the day, there were a few things like this where Lego would release, and this was somewhat unique to Pirates. So they released this storyline to go with it, and so it featured the original 2 ships, and then basically all the original sets from that first wave, and it had named characters, which was really rare for back then. And you got a couple of those named characters with they were very rough approximations, like this is supposed to be that little kid. So this is just kind of a cool piece of vintage pirate history, where you can...
It's almost like a forerunner of the books today where they include the minifig in them, that sort of thing.
It really is very similar to that. And it was just kind of a way to introduce and give a narrative to the sets of the time. That's pretty cool. So just moving on then, this was Shipwreck Island. This was the later pirate island, which I must confess its name is escaping me at the moment. Rock Island Refuge is what I think it was. So obviously you can see it got bigger. This went to that, and this went to that. So it was kind of following that similar pattern of the ships of, all right, first we're going to try to go bigger. So that's the Imperial Trading Post in the back there with the 2 full 32 by 32 base plates, one of which was 3D base plates. You can just kind of say, one 3D base plate, okay, we'll do that, plus another base plate.
And that's such a great set. You look at that set there, not only is it, like you said, the big base plate, but then you've got like a whole bay there, all in one set. That's amazing.
And you've got the kind of port and dock areas around. You could pull the big ships up to it on the outside, and then the little one that came with it could sail through it. And then this is a really unique piece of Lego history. The Islanders theme came out in the mid-90s, and it was just a one-of, only included, I think it was 6 sets, of which we have 5 of them here. And the big one was Enchanted Island. It was kind of this lagoon, half a lagoon with the, again, 3D base plate paired with the... Lego just made them big in the mid-90s, I guess, when it comes to base plates. So, and the Islanders have never been rebooted, which just blows my mind. It was such a great theme.
It really was. You look at this ship design here on the canoes and everything. That's so great.
And it was just such a great infusion into the pirate theme because, up till that point, it had all been good guy versus bad guy. It just kind of gave a third party, if you will, to raid or to fight the pirates or to whatever. Featured all the cool statues, with this, and then like on this one here, it actually opens up, and so the idea was you could sail through and find the hidden lagoon and all of that. King's Throne, Crocodile Cave. So again, just like good little set design that by itself is fun, gave you a little taste of the theme, but also could be paired with the bigger stuff. And then that was Skull Island, obviously. Lego was into swinging things that opened into caves at that point in time. So again, getting smaller. That one came a few years before the kind of rough pirate ships. That kind of ended the theme there in the mid-90s for a while. And this was the last gasp. So this was the last big pirate island that came out and paired with the Spanish Armada. So kind of shipwrecks were the theme that year. They had 2 different sets that were shipwrecks. And what you can really see about that set is it's largely empty. It's just kind of, they're really relying on the base plate to give it heft.
There's like a couple plants, and we'll call it a day.
Call it good. Call it good. Not a very good model.
Is that rock there? Does that design to come down? I don't think I've seen that before.
Down, but it's terrible. Like it just kind of is there. And the funny thing is, if you put a minifigure there, it goes right over his head. Like it doesn't even hurt him. It's the second guy in line who gets it. So... And then this I just kind of threw together for fun here. So this is just kind of a sampling of the minifigures throughout the years. And it's just kind of interesting to see, on the one hand, how they've advanced, and on the other hand, how they were already pretty detailed to begin with. Like the differences are subtle as opposed to really major.
Kind of your own custom collectible minifig line here at Pirates.
I have a few of those 4x3 base plates lying around. So.
I love the chrome armor piece there, the chrome, like breastplate piece.
That was unique to the Spanish Armada. So it was just that one guy. He had a name. I don't remember what it was at this point, but yeah. So he had the chrome armor, and then you got the Islanders and everything. Otherwise, the pirates have been pretty unchanged the whole time.
Right. Same basic type of wear. So do you have a favorite set out of all of these then?
Out of all of these, I think it would be Enchanted Island. That was just one I just had so much fun with as a kid. So it was the perfect age. I was nine years old when I got that one. So kind of right there in the thick of it.
Yes.
So
golden age there for the Lego.
Right. That's right. At least for me anyway with the collecting. So.
Yeah, well, they're all great sets. I think, you lay these out like this, and it's obvious why Pirates kind of has so much appeal even today, and why those sets are still so popular.
Yep, a lot of appeal. And then obviously pure nostalgia for those of us old enough to remember when those were out and wanting them. So, yeah, great theme. Really wish it would be more popular now, but probably not going to happen. They have tried twice to reboot it and a movie tie-in, and if none of that has worked, it's probably not going to work any time in the near future, unfortunately.
At some point, you just give up. Now, I noticed you mentioned the 3D base plates several times. Talk about a little bit more of that, because that really hasn't been something they've done in a while.
Yeah, and you can, to be honest, you can kind of begin to see why with these sets, right? Like you look at the Imperial Trading Post there. Fantastic set, right? So much playability. But when you get right down to it, there's not that many pieces on there. They had to give so much of the plastic away to the 3D base plate. And at the end of the day, it's cool, but it doesn't necessarily add that much to it that for the trade-off. So, but yeah, so Lego was really into them in the late 80s and early 90s. And you can even see how they began to peter out and kind of become smaller, and then they just kind of vanished. I forget when the last one was. It was probably early 2000s. I think some of the Knights Kingdom castles had them, and that was about it. So,
yeah, you're right though. You look at any of these sets where they build on that base plate, and it just seems very sparse like this and everything. It's almost like they wanted people to just build on top of that, and we'll just kind of let you have at it.
Yeah, and they were actually really awkward to build on top of, because the problem with them is that there's got to be a way to support the plastic on top. Like there can't be too much of a space that doesn't have something that goes down to the floor. So that's why the ramp and pit base plate, they made use of the pit, but the pit is really there to keep it from bending and breaking. And these other ones that are kind of the half lagoon, they had to keep it so narrow and kind of weird that it's just not easy to build on in any way. So even Lego didn't. They just kind of built on the end of it where it was easy, and then kind of threw a little half shelter there for good measure. But where the ones that are on the flat, they're so much more visually interesting and more bulky, because they had all the parts to allot to that. So Enchanted Island, I feel, is one of the main exceptions to that. There, the 3D base plate did really kind of add to it with the bridge and the little structure off of it. Like that felt like
a natural outcropping almost off of it.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of the idea of kind of building it into whatever trees and foliage and rock was there. Where some of the other ones, especially the last big pirate island there, as you said, it just kind of feels ignored.
Exactly. Well, this is great. I appreciate you bringing all these out and kind of exploring the Pirates' history here at Philly Brickfest. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. It was fun.